doesn't need to know a technical trout has a 10-foot front taper, a 17-foot body, and a 25-foot back taper, even though the back taper allows the ability to control and stabilize the loop.
Yep. What is going on, everybody? Max here, and I've got a special guest here in the shop who's going to cover a couple questions on fly lines that we got. Today we have Ben Hunting in the shop here, and Ben's our rep for our Sage, Reddington, Rio, Fish Pond, Dr. Slick. I mean, basically almost all the brands that we got here in the shop. So Ben, if you want to introduce yourself.
Absolutely. Thanks for taking the time, guys. Ben Hunting, as Max said, I represent a bunch of product lines here in the fly fishing industry for the Great Lakes, which is Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, and Kentucky. And they really wanted me to stop by Werkman Outfitters today to talk about the importance of fly lines and different tapers, that type of stuff. So really, plain and simple, the fly line is truly, I think, the most important aspect of your rod reel outfit. If you're trout fishing or if you're bass fishing to that extent, steelhead salmon may be a little bit different. I think the reel's a little bit more important than the line. But if you fish and fly fish, you'll come to the conclusion that just like a golfer, you're not going to go play golf with a driver and a 7-iron and shoot a very good score. You're going to have different tapers, different types of fly lines that allow you to be successful on and off the water. One of the stories that I love talking about is at demo days and trade shows when I travel throughout the territory. I have many people come in and say, hey, I'm not happy with the rod that I purchased. It's not casting, it's not performing the way that I want it to. And generally speaking, they come to me because it is a Sage-related concern or a Reddington-related concern, because those are the lines that I represent. And I always spark my interest, and I'm always pretty curious to these conversations, because almost 100% of the time, that customer has a fly line taper that is not suited appropriately for the rod that they have, he or she. So I spend a lot of time at these shows, at the demo days, at the fly shops, letting them cast different tapers until they find out which one they cast the best. So yeah, believe it or not, the fly line's probably more important than you think, and I always laugh how some people will spend so much money on a rod and reel, and then they fish one fly line for 6 years, and that line probably was done after year one. It's not going to perform as well as it did in year one, and it's time to upgrade. So take advantage of your local fly shops, take advantage of the times that the reps are on the road doing demo days or trade shows. Find out what line casts best for your rod. I guarantee you, Max and I, if we cast the same rod, we're probably going to like a different fly line. It's just that simple. We both cast differently. We have a different stroke. And to be honest with you, one fly line is going to be great for smaller flies, another one's going to be great for bigger flies, and one's going to be great for throwing streamers, pitching streamers, and another one's going to be great for throwing poppers, spay fishing. I mean, it just changes all the time.
There's not one true fly line for all applications out there. And that's one thing that we push out of here in the shop is if you're looking for a fly line or a new fly line, come in the shop here, let's test some fly lines. Like Ben's saying, everybody casts a fly line differently depending on their casting stroke and rod. So we always push just to come in the shop here, test out all these lines, and just figure out which one fits your casting stroke and your rods the best. So Ben's gonna dive into a couple fly lines here, and he's gonna go under the hood and give us a few depth, detail, and performances for these fly lines here.
Excellent. First, we'll talk trout tapers, and we're gonna be speaking primarily Rio, just because those are the fly lines that I represent. Trust me, every fly line company makes a great fly line. I'm not just drinking the Kool-Aid. I do think that Rio makes some of the best fly lines on the market, but Scientific Angler, Airflow, they all make phenomenal products. So, but the technical trout is one of my favorite lines. It is a true line size, which is fantastic. I kind of call it the Michigan Match the Hatch style fly line, because it's really deemed what I would say is more appropriate for size flies 14 and smaller. So you're looking at hennies, you're looking at sulfurs, you're looking at black caddis, tan, olive caddis, tricos, any of that type of stuff. And really what the technical trout is meant to do is it's meant to turn over longer leaders a lot more supple on top of the water. So to break it down plain and simple, to be honest with you, I can get into the under the hood statement
under the hood
that Max said. You've got a 52-foot head that has a 10-foot front taper, a 17-foot body, and then a 25-foot back taper. Obviously, the front taper being 10 feet is there to present the fly a little bit more supple on top of the water. The longer back taper is going to allow better loop control and stability as well. So the nice thing about a 52-foot head is you can carry more fly lines. So for some of these anglers that are good casters, I think, yeah, I mean, to be able to carry longer lines, stay a little bit further away from the fish on big water, the Au Sable, the Manistee.
Yep, the Muskegon.
Muskegon's a great example as well. I mean, some of these bigger waters, you need to make longer casts, and quite frankly, some of the guides that cater to these rivers, if they have a good casting customer, they're going to keep you further away from the fish because they're not going to spook them. So personally, this line can cast on all designated rod classes, slow, medium, fast, but I think most people will probably cater more towards the slow and medium with a technical trout. So,
and I personally like this technical trout line for all of my, like Ben said, smaller bug applications, especially in big river situations. When we're on the Muskegon doing sulfurs, caddis, mahoganies, like Ben says, size 14s or unders, this is the line that I'm gravitating towards, absolutely.
Yeah, agree. And quite frankly, at the end of a good fishing day, you shouldn't struggle.
No.
So you should. No. I always tell people, put ice in your cocktail, not on your body, at the end of a good fishing day. So the Rio Gold is, again, very common. It's a great match the hatch style fly line, very similar to the technical trout, available weight forward 2 to weight forward 9. Targeted hatches, you get a little bit bigger with these. You go hennies, you can do some caddis, but ISOs, brown drakes, gray drakes, green drakes, hex.
Your larger bugs.
Yeah, Efrons, all that type of stuff. So you kind of get a little bit of what I would say is a little bit more diversity with the size fly that you're going to be using with the Rio Gold. Also, like the breakdown of the technical trout, it's a little bit different. It's a 47-foot head.
A little shorter.
A little bit shorter. Front taper is significantly shorter. So it's a 5'6" front taper. The body is 22.5 feet, and then the back taper is a 19-foot back taper. So this line, again, similar to the technical trout, it's great at casting longer distances. Again, which I think Muskegon, Manistee, lower water of the Au Sable is fantastic for this line. But the nice thing about this is it gives you the opportunity to turn that leader over a little bit easier, so you can maybe use a little bit of a bigger leader to do that. So again, like I said, bigger flies, targeted species, a little bit bigger flies. You got hex, you got drakes, you got your ISOs, that type of stuff. What I would probably tell you is you're casting with a little bit of a faster action rod. Something that is going to allow you to catch those 20+ inch fish, control them a little bit easier, land them a little bit quicker so that we're not harming the fish. As we go from Rio Gold, a couple of years ago we came out with the Rio Gold XP and the Rio Gold Max. What's really neat is I think the Rio Gold XP is going to become the new power horse.
I agree. I totally agree.
Yeah, of the Rio Gold family, because really what this is it is a half line size bump.
It is.
So instead of being a 47-foot head, you now have a 42-foot head. Breakdown is a little bit different. It's going to be weight forward 3, weight forward 8, and again, it's going to be a little bit of a different breakdown for that 42 feet. So you got 5'6", which was the same as the traditional Gold. Body's a little bit shorter, 21.5 feet, and then the back taper is going to be 15 feet. So that half line size bump is literally just in the first 30 feet. So that's AFTA standards. What is the grain weight in the first 30 feet? But the nice thing about this Rio Gold XP is it's going to fish really well on medium and fast action rods.
Yes.
And to be honest with you, it's going to load the rod quicker, which a lot of people new have a hard time loading the rod, feeling it. So a little bit of a line size bump helps people feel like they're loading the rod, making that rod bend a little bit more. And that generally makes them cast a little bit easier too.
It does. So. And the Gold XP is always the line that we're pushing out of here for if I need one size floating line or one type of floating line, or I'm a beginner at fly fishing or newer at it. that Rio Gold XP is going to be your line. That half line size heavier really helps load that rod and turn that stuff over, like Ben is saying.
Absolutely. I think if you're struggling getting tighter loops, if you're struggling getting 35, 40 feet, a little bit more added weight is gonna work a long way to your success in making some longer casts and catching a few more fish. Last in the Rio Gold line family is the Rio Gold Max. This is a 37-foot head.
It is.
And ironically, it's a full line size bump. So if you get a 5-weight, it's truly a 6-weight in aft to standards within the first 30 feet. Perfect for hopper dropper.
It is.
Throw in a chubby Chernobyl.
It is. Bigger flies, bigger presentations with this line.
Great for indicator rigs.
It is. I used this line on a 6-weight in Alaska last year, and it's a great all-purpose line. I could do some dry flies with them, but it really shined with that back taper for
100%.
roll casting, bigger streamers, indicators, things like that.
Absolutely, and I was going to tell you that it's a rear loaded, which aids in making roll casts a lot easier as well. So the cool thing about this is it's a 4-foot front taper.
Yep.
So a little bit more aggressive to turn that stuff over. It's a 28.5-foot body and a 4-foot 6-inch back taper. So there's your rear loaded.
The rear load.
So available wade forward 4 through wade forward 9. Again, one of the rods that or lines that would be best for fast action. Again, hopper dropper mice. I mean, we throw a lot of mouse patterns here in the state of Michigan. I know a lot of guys are doing it out on the White River too after dark, which is something that has been going on the last 5-10 years. So, so for trout fishing here in the state of Michigan, technical trout, kind of your all-around small bug.
Purpose. Yep.
Your Rio Gold is kind of the industry standard, but allows you to be a little bit more diverse because you can throw some bigger flies. You get to the Gold XP, I think it's the Power Horse.
I think it is too. I totally agree.
And then you get to the Rio Gold Max, which is, again, for people that are throwing indicators, hopper droppers, multi-purpose driven fly line.
It is, yes. Yep.
So we'll take a break and then we'll get back here and talk a little bit more about warm water.
The warm water, the bass lines.
Yeah, these guys are excited about that.
I love the bass lines.